Hi, it's JD from Eat My Science, and this is FAQ Friday. Today we're talking about why are French fries so bad for us? Is it because they're made out of potatoes, and potatoes are made out of sugar, and sugar is bad? Is it because it's fried in nasty trans fat oils? Is it because of the salt? Is it because it tastes so good and they just don't want us to have them? Come on, they're made out of a vegetable, right? Well, we're going to start off by talking about the potato. The potato is considered a vegetable. It's a tuber. What it does is it stores all of the energy and the nutrients that a plant needs to reproduce later. So it's full of nutrients and also a lot of sugars, because that's how the plant stores energy to be able to reproduce. It takes energy from the sun, mixes it with the nutrients in the soil, and it makes sugars, stores them right in here. So the potato is a starchy vegetable, but it's also packed full of micronutrients like potassium, vitamin C, vitamin B, folate, a lot of other phytochemicals that make it very, very nutritious, and a ton of stuff that we don't even know about yet, because we only know to look for the chemicals that we've found, and nature has way more chemicals that we don't even know about. So potatoes are chock full of nutrients. They will last a really long time because they have this fantastic skin that has different compounds in it that protect the inside of the potato. The inside of the potato has compounds that will oxidize in the air, which is why they will get brown or black when you cut them open. So there's different nutrients in the skin than are in the inside. So when you take the skin off a potato, you're already missing out on a lot of the nutrients. And that brings us to French fries. French fries are usually without the skin, so they're already missing a ton of nutrients. The way a potato is cooked has a big impact on the nutrient profile also. Pretty much any way that you cook a potato is going to neutralize the compounds that oxidize in the air, which is why cooked potatoes don't typically get browned like a raw potato does. But I don't know a single person who eats raw potatoes. If you know anyone who eats raw potatoes, put their name in the comments, because I want to talk to them. So right off the bat, when we cook potatoes, we're neutralizing some of those compounds. French fries are fried in a lot of oil at a very high heat very quickly. So this is actually the worst way to cook potatoes. So when a restaurant gets the potatoes and they cut them up, or they either cut them in the restaurant, like In-N-Out, or most of the time they're cut somewhere else and then they're treated with a preservative, usually TBHQ, which I am not even going to try to pronounce, but the whole thing, but it's treated with that, which is a known carcinogen and is in a lot of packaging for preservatives. Treated with that and then is sent to the restaurant. So I have some French fries here that are from a restaurant that shall remain nameless but has a giant M on their logo, and they definitely treat with TBHQ. So there's already a carcinogen on the potatoes before they're even cooked. Then they're cooked in a whole lot of oil, and the oils they use are considered vegetable oils, but they are a mixture of vegetable oils and then a fully hydrogenated oil. So partially hydrogenated oil is what causes trans fats, and we know that those are bad, and so they've gone to using fully hydrogenated oils, which doesn't create trans fats like partial hydrogenation, but it makes it more solid than they want it. So what they do is they mix it with regular oils that have not been hydrogenated, and it acts like a partially hydrogenated oil. This has not been studied at length, and so we don't know if that's actually producing trans fats in the meantime or what. Fully hydrogenated oils have not been studied that much, so we don't even know. They're not using just fresh oil, they are using a treated oil, hydrogenated oil, and we don't really know the health effects of that. But they're treated with, or they're fried in so much oil, and the potato just soaks up a lot of that oil. And in a medium-sized French fries from the restaurant that shall not be named, they're is 16 grams of oil in the French fries that you eat. That's the medium fries. That's the one that comes when you order a value meal, whether you specify size or not. To put that in perspective, I poured that into my little measuring glass. It is over a tablespoon. In one medium serving of French fries, you're getting this much oil. You're eating this much oil in just one part of your meal. That is not moderation, I would say. That is a lot of oil. Which is probably why they taste so good. The oil and the starch from the potatoes are an explosive combination in your brain. They taste super, super good, and you just want to eat more. And that is one reason why they're so addictive. I don't know anybody who doesn't like French fries. I have never heard a single person say, I don't really like French fries. If you know someone who doesn't like French fries, like doesn't actually like them, let me know. I'd love to talk to them. So we're removing the skin, we're frying it in a ton of oil. Now we're frying it in a lot of heat at a short amount of time. And what that does is, yes, it neutralizes the compounds that oxidize, but it also kills a lot of the living bacteria, or not bacteria. We don't want bacteria potatoes. It kills a lot of the living nutrients that we need that we would get from potatoes. So what's left is the starch and the sugars. And there's some evidence that heating at such a high heat actually speeds up the movement of the sugars and splits them up. They're not, the sugars that are normally in a potato are not the simple sugars. They're not the glucose and fructose and sucrose. They're more complex than that, but they're still easily broken down by the body into those simple sugars. But when we fry them at a high heat, there's some evidence that they're actually broken down into smaller sugars and will impact your blood sugar a lot quicker than eating a potato that's been slow roasted. So, and the studies that have done this, if they actually let the potatoes that have been fried quickly, let them cool, it actually has less of an impact on blood sugar. So, but nobody likes to eat cold French fries. So we're actually breaking down the starches into smaller sugars, adding a ton of oil, and then putting some salt on it. And this does not resemble the nutrient profile of the initial potato at all. So to give you an example of what French fries are compared to what a potato is, these French fries I bought on Tuesday. Today is Friday. They've been sitting on top of my refrigerator for almost 4 days. And they look and smell delicious. They actually still smell really good, which is kind of messed up. Like, that's messing with my head right now. These still look like French fries. They're hard. You wouldn't want to eat them because all the moisture is gone. But they smell really good and they still look great. I could leave these up here for a month. I could leave them up on top of my refrigerator for a year and they wouldn't change. This is what they are now. It is not food anymore. It is a food product that has no nutritional value because nothing is going to grow on these. I'm not going to find any little fungus or anything, mold. Nothing's going to grow on these. I might just leave them up there for another couple months and circle back to it just to make sure. In contrast, this is a potato that I cut on Wednesday. Now, granted, this is a raw potato, but you can see that it's been oxidized and there's even some stuff growing on this potato because it's full of nutrients. Potatoes have a ton of nutrients that we need, but not when you fry them and put them with a ton of oil. It just doesn't work. For one more example, I actually roasted these potatoes last night. Okay, I take that back. I didn't roast them. I fried them in oil in a pan, but in a lot lower heat, a lot less oil than this. This is probably as much oil as I used for the entire pan, and 4 of us ate it, and we still had some left over. So a lot less oil, a lot lower heat, cooked for a lot longer time, and it is starting to brown a little bit. I left these out overnight. They haven't been in the refrigerator. It is starting to brown a little bit, which means those nutrients that oxidize when they touch the air are not all neutralized. They're still there. So I also have the skins on, so we can extrapolate that there are still a lot of nutrients in these potatoes. And I know from personal experience, even if I left these in the refrigerator for a week, then I would have stuff growing on them. I've had that happen before. So there are still a lot of nutrients in this type of potato cooked this way. No nutrients at all in this sugar, oil, salt bomb. So I wish that the answer was different, but this is not a potato anymore. This is some sugars, a bunch of oil, some preservatives that are known carcinogens. I totally forgot to mention one of the most important things. When French fries are cooked at such a high heat, a lot of chemical reactions happen. They totally neutralize all the minerals and nutrients that we need. But one of the byproducts is called acrylamide, which is a toxic substance and is a known carcinogen. So you're left with sugar, oil, salt, and deadly compounds. That's what a French fry is. No mold is gonna touch this because it's just gonna die. So we should not be eating these. Now, acrylamides and the TBHQ are not going to kill you the next day after you eat them. A lot of studies have been done on the impact of diet on mortality and longevity, and French fries have been studied specifically, and it's really like if you eat French fries once or twice a week, your risk for mortality is like doubled. So those are not good numbers, but it's not French fries specifically because they can't actually do a study where they feed someone French fries and look for the results because it's harmful. It's known to be harmful. And so ethically, they cannot do a study where they just feed you French fries and then see what the results are. So you will never see a study like that. So that is another reason why, well, if it's known that it's harmful and you can't even do a study and feed people French fries, then that's a good indicator that even the FDA knows that French fries are not food. And not only are they not food, they're full of nasty stuff and we should not be eating them. So I started out thinking, French fries are made out of potatoes. Potatoes are good. Maybe it's just some like leftover negativity from when we thought fat was really bad. Maybe it's just the sugar that people say is bad. But no, it's the fact that the way they're cooked, they have no nutritional value and they only have toxic compounds. And it's just not good for you. So I'm not sure if I could ever eat French fries again. But I totally will because they're really good. But just don't eat them once and twice a week constantly. Make it a treat every now and then. And understand that when you're eating them, there's no nutrition in them at all. It's just a treat. There's more nutrition in chocolate, honestly. So that's all I have for today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. Again, this is JD with Eat My Science. Eat well, my friends. Your life depends on it.